Yeah, I'm going to be taking this valve off. This is the valve I was trying to show you, okay? And if you're doing a repair here in that drywall. Now I've replaced this with this over here, all right? And so I've got to hook this up because as you see, this new valve here is I'm going to put on. Oh, I may not be able to put on a different handle. I may have to completely redo this valve, but we'll see how that goes. And I may leave it like this. Not sure. All right. It should be the same valve. So I may not leave it. I'm just talking. All right. We'll see how it goes for sure. This is going to be the replacement valve over here. And so we will be putting this handle on it. I'm going to clean this up. It's really dirty, and I will show you that here once I take it off. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take this handle off and we're going to clean it up. I'm also going to be removing the valve as well, cutting the copper pipe that it's connected to, and then soldering it closed is what I'll be doing. All right. You can pinch the solder together with like some vice grips and then put some flux on that joint you've now created by smashing the pipe together, the seam, and then soldering it and closing it up. But I'll probably just use some caps. Let's take a look how dirty this is. This is really dirty, really cruddy. We're going to clean this up. Then I'm going to put it on the other handle because this is metal. It's not plastic like these other ones. All right. So here we go. Up close and personal. Okay. So I'll show you how I'm going to clean this up. Okay, keep in mind, sometimes you need to just sort of tighten something, a nut, slightly, just to break the grip, all right? So you going up would be tightening, all right? That would be clockwise. Counterclockwise would be going down, all right? So sometimes remember to break something that's frozen in place, that's screwed together. You want to slightly tighten it. I mean, just get it to move in the tightening position. Then once it barely moves, it'll then be easier to break free and take off. Which will save you from fighting or not being able to remove it without damaging it. So just keep that in mind. All right. It's now hand loose. All right, I'm able to pull this off. Well, it's kind of stuck, so I'm going to have to knock it loose a little bit. Okay. Looks like I'm going to have to pause the camera so I get both hands in there. Let me see if I can. Okay, I'm having to kind of wiggle this, grab it. There we go, I got it out. All right. Now I'm going to have to cut right below that brass ring so I can put on the slip connector like a shark bite on that, okay? Where this brass ring is. All right, the brass ring is, show you, is right here. There's the brass. That's where it seals it, okay? All right. Okay, get this hose off of here so we can get this valve off. And I need to get a little bowl, that way any water that comes out of that line, it'll catch it and it won't get all over the bottom of the sink here in the storage area. Alright, got this finger loose. You see the red bucket down here. Alright, that catches any water. Okay, now I can take off the valve. Alright, now if it's real tight, you want 2 wrenches. One will go on top, the other will go on the bottom position. Or one goes on the bottom, one goes in the top position, just depending. Okay, I believe this should be loose enough to undo at this point. Okay, get this dialed in here. And it's not zooming. I've got the pipe wrench on the copper pipe behind the valve, and that's going up while the crescent wrench is coming down to break it, which is, if you're looking at it, the face of that valve like it was a clock, the wrench going down would be counterclockwise. So hopefully I'm not going to block your view and you'll be able to see this. And by the way, the wrench I used on those fittings were a 15. Alright, so I'll let you know about that. Alright, I'm afraid I'm going to block the camera shot here. Nope, maybe not. Alright, up on the wrench. Get it to lock. Then down with the crescent. Better known as counterclockwise. Lefty loosey, that's what you use. That can be confusing in this situation. So it's counterclockwise. Okay. And little by little, we're getting it. Okay. Now, so that I don't bore you guys with all this, I'm going to get that off. And I'll show you the next procedure here in this process. Okay, observation. If the threads are pointing towards you, it would be correct to say they go on clockwise and counterclockwise. I'm going to show you what I'm saying, but in this case, it's in reverse. Alright, so here's the new valve. Okay, now, if this is facing you, alright, clockwise would be going in this direction. Counterclockwise would be going back the other way. So, if it's facing you, okay, clockwise is tightening, then counterclockwise is loosening. So these are in reverse. They're reverse threads, and it goes to the wall. Alright, so to tighten, we're going down, alright, which would be counterclockwise. But to loosen it, when it goes against the wall, you got to go clockwise. You got to go that way. Alright? So, you're going clockwise to loosen this. It's in reverse. Alright? And so that's the observation, is you got to go clockwise to reverse this nut that goes to the copper pipe, your water pipe. I want to show you one other thing here on the water pipe. Alright, on the water pipe, it's been flared. Alright, that opening is bigger. And then it has a brass piece back here. Alright. And so that's a compression fitting, but they expanded that. So I'm going to have to cut this pipe. Good thing I'm throwing it away. It's been eliminated to start with. So I'm going to cut this back here, and okay. Then I'm going to put a cap on it, solder a cap. So I'll be video showing you how to solder. Probably this next video. So heads up. And so remember, when you're taking these off, it goes clockwise. You want it to go that way. Alright. Remember, you're looking at it like a face of a clock. Next, we'll be cleaning up this handle. Okay, we're going to be cleaning this up. Alright. Now, what I'm going to use is some steel wool and some Ajax. Okay, let's get this on here. All right, get a few little drops of water. Get it kind of so it'll make a paste. Okay, I probably should have wet this first. Put a little more. Okay, let's get this wet. Okay, now little elbow grease. This young generation, what is elbow grease? Do you know what elbow grease is? Put some elbow grease on this to get it clean. Well, think about that, and if you don't know, I will tell you what elbow grease is. But you're going to have to stay tuned to see if you don't know what elbow grease is. Okay, let's sprinkle a little bit more on here. Okay, let's get this wet a little bit. Shake out the excess water. Okay, got some elbow grease going now. Got the elbow grease going. Alright, now let's take a look. We put some elbow grease on this. Let's see how it's looking. Alright, let me show you what elbow grease does to it. Look at this. This side I put some elbow grease on. This side I didn't, well, not much anyway, but you see it's still tarnished. When I get this off of here, I'll tell you what elbow grease is if you don't know. Alright? Tips and tricks, easy to, tips and tricks, ECT, ECT. We're going to put some elbow grease. If you don't know what it is, I'm going to tell you in just a minute. Okay, got some elbow grease going. Got the elbow grease going right now. I can feel it. I think it's going to work. Yep, I think this elbow grease is really going to do a good job. A lot of times, that's all it takes is some elbow grease. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. I didn't know at one time. There was a time I didn't know what elbow grease was either. So you're not alone if you don't know. And I will gladly tell you in just a second. But we're going to have to see how this elbow grease is working. Okay, and I'll explain to you what elbow grease is here in just a second. But we need to see how it's going to work. Alright, and you've got to rinse it, and we'll see how the elbow grease is working. But we've got to rinse it to find out. Alright, it's magic stuff. It is like unbelievable, elbow grease. Elbow grease does wonders. Is that something you lubricate your elbows with? No, that would be WD-40 or fish oil. And we didn't use any of that on here, although you might be able to use some WD-40 on this to help clean it up. Actually, but let's see what the elbow grease did. Oh yeah, this elbow grease is working pretty good. Okay, check this out. Check out what elbow grease does. Up close and personal. Look at that. It was nasty, dirty. I'm going to see if I can't clean this little spot here. No, I don't know if I can. It probably needs to be put on a buffer. But I'm not going to go that far. Alright, it says Brass Craft. And on the back side they put this brass finish, but it's metal. Hear that? This is like a tin. It's metal. And probably more like a pot metal than tin. But let's see if I can't get this. Shake out the excess water. Let's get some elbow grease going. Let's just see how this elbow grease is gonna work. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to get out that one spot that I wasn't liking very much, but it's okay. It's not new. Okay. Let's see. Elbow grease. Is it going to do the trick? Elbow grease does the trick most of the time in a situation like this. You just don't think it's going to come clean, and elbow grease does it every time. Why don't you see it in the stores, you know? Why don't you see that elbow grease in the store? Because it works pretty good. So, I mean, there's times you don't think it's going to come clean. But good old-fashioned elbow grease does it every time. No way like the old way, my dad would say. No way like the old way, my dad would say. It's so true. There is no way like the old way. A lot of the old ways work better. Might not be as fast. But little elbow grease is old-fashioned, let me tell you. Alright, now I'm going to show you and tell you what elbow grease is for those that don't know. Let's check this out. Let's see. Did she come cleaner? Gooder than good? Hey, looks like the old elbow grease did the trick. Look at that. Clean as can be. Now I'll tell you what elbow grease is. Elbow grease. It's just good, firm, hard pressure, and you scrub real hard, and you push real hard, and you scrub. Elbow grease. So if you didn't know, now you know. It's kind of like going down and buying a board stretcher, you know? Although they don't make board stretchers. Elbow grease is just an old-fashioned word for scrubbing real hard. And I hope you've enjoyed this. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Bye for now, and never give up, because there's always a way. And don't forget the elbow grease.